Coca cultivation has a long history in Peru and a significant place in its culture. The Incas used coca for religious and medicinal purposes. But the coca leaf is also the basis of cocaine, organized crime and insurgency movements, facts Peruvians know all too well. 20 years ago, insurgents used profits from drug trafficking to fuel a vicious civil war. During that time, Héctor Orey was a coca farmer and a drug trafficker in the infamous region of San Martín.
I was working for a company and would produce weekly probably about 1,500 kilos of cocaine base. Sometimes we would fill up 4 or 5 flights headed for Colombia and then Europe.
Since then, the Peruvian government's eradication measures have cut the coca leaf production in half. With assistance from the UN, many coca farmers have been able to give up their coca fields voluntarily and learn how to grow other crops. Flavio Mirella, the representative of the UN Drugs and Crime Office in Peru.
About 50,000 people have been weaned off an illicit, informal economy, one that's based on a single crop.
But for some cocaleros, like Abel Diaz, who lives deep in the Peruvian jungle, moving into licit crops is easier said than done.
Yo tenía 11 años y en eso conocimos a un amigo, conoció a mi papá.
I remember when I was 11 years old.
Alto Guayaga, un caserío.
My father had a friend in Guayaga. There I found out about coca leaves and started harvesting during my school vacations.
Today, Abel owns 6 hectares or almost 15 acres of land. Most are coca fields. Other crops don't grow well here in the jungle. The only money Abel earns comes from coca, and poverty is evident in his family's living conditions. Why does Abel have such a hard time making a living? He sells about 1/5 of his coca crop legally to Enaco, a government-owned company that converts coca leaves into tea, colas and medicines. But the company pays farmers very little and demands leaves that are higher in quality than those Abel grows. So most of what he produces, about 120 kilos of coca leaves every 3 months, he sells illegally to the traditional market for chewing. Abel says selling to the black market is sometimes his only option, because drug traffickers are not as picky about the quality of the crop. But for some coca growers, the decision to quit the illegal trade was clear. Héctor Orey says he used to make money from the black market as well. But his family lived in constant fear of police and government raids on the one hand and rebel groups on the other. So he moved his family to a busy city in the Peruvian Amazon, Pucallpa. This is where he came across a United Nations palm oil project helping former cocaleros. The beginnings were hard. Palm trees take 3 to 4 years before the first harvest. Today, 16 years and more than 22 hectares or 54 acres of palm trees later, Héctor is a shareholder in this palm oil processing plant here.
Yo invoco a muchos agricultores.
To all farmers involved with coca, I say, change to palm.
La palma es uno de los mejores. No hay comparar en nadie.
With palm trees, you are always clean and proud. You won't be afraid of justice chasing you.
What worked for Héctor may not work for Abel. According to experts, palm trees probably would not grow here, but cacao or cocoa might. Crops to substitute coca are largely determined by the soil and the altitude of any given area. The Peruvian government, with the help of the UN, is trying to find alternatives that can be sustained in the long term. This report was prepared by Sasha Gorishek for the United Nations.